Hi, welcome back to Mechanic Garage. Today, after the washing and the cleaning yesterday, start putting things back together. So the interior's all in the back, ready to go in. The car's clean now, and I've had to do a bit of repair, well, so not repair, but preventative work on the floor where that patch of rusty, suspected rust was. It wasn't, it was starting to just a little tiny bit, and there's a couple of other areas that was bare metal and grease and things that should be. So I've cleaned it all up and rust treated it and then zinc primed it. I'm going to spray them brown in a minute, because even though they're hidden under the carpet, it can't stay like that. That was the area there, just slightly uneven, not gone through, not rusty badly, so I scraped all the loose bits and bats and then gave it a bit of rust treatment and primed it again. It's still solid. Screwdriver wouldn't go through, so I decided against poking any harder. But yeah, these bits where it had the wax and everything sprayed, I've just cleaned them up and painted them with zinc primer after rust treatment. Carpets are now, I guess they'll be dry. They were virtually dry this morning. They've been hanging up in the garage overnight and they've been out here for an hour or so now. All the seats are there, all stacked up with the seat covers on, so there's no more disintegrating black fabric, so they all, even now, they look a lot better. The rest of it now, once that's dried, I'll spray a bit of brown on there, as I say, and then start putting it all back together. Right. It's all drying here now, so what I'll do, just put a bit of cardboard around the throttle pedal just so that it doesn't end up painting all over it. You won't be able to see an awful lot, but try and move you around a bit. There you go, you can't see much anyway. Got a lot of paint with the car, the previous owner, so that's handy. I'm going to take it up for the last 5 minutes. I just need to basically get it into that corner a bit. Get some coverage on. It won't go out in one coat, but I'm a bugger for one coat's enough, but it never is. It usually ends up running. So I'll try and be, maybe a little bit there. Spraying at the wrong angle, so I'm trying to hold the camera, but you get the gist. It'd be easier on the other side, I think. Alright, bring you out, 2 seconds. It's a while since I smelled cellulose paint. And a good job the doors are open. Yeah, slightly better than it was. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's going underneath the carpet. But it stops the rust coming back quite as quickly. So hopefully this other side, I'll be able to get you a slightly better angle. Maybe. This side, I shall just do the same. This side was nowhere near as bad. There's a grit and things in here, I've already cleaned it out. This side wasn't as bad, so it's just a case of tidying it up before I put the carpet back in. And as I say, it's not showroom finish, it's just making it a bit more presentable. It's not bad anyway. Just on top of the rust treatment. Right, well, that's that treatment there. I mean, I was worried about runs, but they're factory runs there. I didn't do that. Now the paint, I've seen it on the outside of the car, it does seem to match up quite well. And across this side again, you can see where it was all rusty and manky in the corners, it's now all painted up and sorted. So hopefully all that will actually dry fairly quickly and I can get the interior back in today. Because that was the original plan. I've spent a bit too much time faffing around with other things, which is about standard. But if I can get the interior back in, the only thing I need to do is the aluminium strips that hold the door seals in on the edges, to get them a good scrub up and clean up. I'm going to put new screws in because of the ones that are in it have all gone rusty. Just little things like that, tidy things up. And yeah, I think that'll be alright, as long as that's dry. And get the carpet and everything back in, we should be able to get rid of all the stuff on the floor. And get that back in, get the seats back in, which are all piled up there, and actually start looking a little bit habitable again. It's going okay. Bit of bodywork, bit of tidying up to do on the outside, a bit of welding on the other side. I'm going to clean off a lot of the rust prevention that it's had on, and then treat it and paint it, just to tidy it up, clean it up. It was a good way of preserving a car, and it seems to have worked because it still exists. Incidentally, several years ago, it did have 2 new front wings on, and also all the structure behind this. If you've ever seen these with this off, there's multiple plates and brackets and mountings for the indicator and the wing sort of support and all the rest of it, and the top rail. A lot of that had rusted away, so it was all actually replaced, cut out properly, all manufactured, and the guy did quite a good job of it. So I'll see if I can dig out a picture of that and insert it, but if I can't, then you won't see it. Well, it's a bit later on, paint's all dry, so I'm going to start getting the soundproofing back in. So hopefully I've got to remember where they came from, because they're pretty straightforward. I think that's that side. Yeah, it's got a line on that one. That's got the cutouts for the throttle pedal, so get those back in. Yeah, these bits now, it's just a case of feeding them back round things, putting them back in the right place, and then getting the clips in, which I'm going to have to go and find because I'm not sure where I put them. Drop it in and over the gear lever, over the throttle pedal. That's the front end back in so far. Considerably better than it was. Obviously it's all a bit out of shape at the moment. It'll all fit better once the once the screws and everything are on the sides of the kick panels and that. So I'll get the back end in. I'll try and move the, there you go, a bit better view. Get the back carpet in now. That's it, get it over the handbrake, over the choke. There you go. It's a lot better and a lot cleaner than it was. Comes together really quickly because they're dead easy to work on. Once you get clean carpets in, get mats in, get all the trims and everything back, and get seats back in, be a different car completely. So I'll get the back seats in next, just because it gives me more room for the front mounting bolts. So hopefully if I put you here, you can see what's going on. Right, so got all the bolts and that in place, so now I'll just stick the battery cover and that back in and get the rear seats and everything back in to start with. That's that in place. That in. And this one uses the same hinge as the centre when it slides on. Quite easily. In reality, I'm on the plane. There we go, we're in. The bottom ones again, just 2 bolts at the bottom. So 2 nuts at the bottom. Lift all your seatbelts out. Right, the seat covers don't quite match up at the minute. I need to wriggle them around a little bit to line them, but you get the gist. It's infinitely better than it was. So next one, we'll get the driver's seat back in. Get the front edge in first, that'll stop it falling over. Then I can roll it forward on the runners to get the back ones in. There's 4 screws hold each one in. Onto the passenger seat now. It's the same as the other side. The brackets in there, they're slightly out of line, but they're adjustable. That's the seats back in. As I say, there's some more plastic trims and things to go, seat belts to put back in and that, but it's certainly looking an awful lot better in there. Seat covers are seat covers, they fit okay, they got creases, but you've seen the seats before. These are infinitely better. It's a hell of a lot cleaner in there. No more tiger skin. No more disintegrating seats, no more filthy carpets. Certainly a massive improvement. Obviously, I mean, some of the back ends have to come apart again slightly to get through the hatch in the boot floor or into the gearbox area. Because obviously the reason I bought the car was to swap the 130 engine and 130 gearbox and running gear off this one onto the 120 in the garage. So I thought if I get all the clean easy stuff done, then I can always go for the slightly laying in a puddle underneath the car mucky stuff later on. This is the now original 120 dashboard in with a couple of minor changes. Seats and everything back in. Back seats and everything are all back in. Zoom out slightly, there you go, it's a bit better view. See a bit better. They're not quite as purple as they look, however, maybe they are a little bit faded. But no, I'm pleased with that. Let's get the plastics and cleaned up, get the metal edge trims cleaned up, and a couple of more bits of trim in there, and pretty much done then. Right, that's all the interior back in now. Finished off the last few plastic bits and put the kick trims on. So I'll just give you a quick show around as to what it looks like now, considering what it did look like with the orange seat covers on.